Are the meetings saved on YouTube as well as live streamed?
Yes, yeah. Okay. Wonderful. And we are live. All right, Robert, we can begin. No.
Hello, everybody. Got the approval of the agenda for 7/2023 Millbrook Health Commission. Does anybody have any questions or edits to the agenda? No, can I have a motion to approve the agenda? Kurt, seconded by John, all in favor? All right, and attached to the agenda is the minutes from our last meeting, October 27th, 2023. Anybody have any questions, concerns, thoughts on those minutes? No? Okay, motion to approve those minutes, John. Seconded by Maureen, all in favor? Wonderful. Okay. Just one more financial report.
The financial report is materials and supplies. We have $4,800. Contracted services, we have $1,500 for a total of $6,300. We do have the $500 for the pamphlets, which was allocated last meeting. And we have ordered the seedlings with the invoice of $268.38.
Okay. So those have not been paid out yet.
They haven't been paid out yet. No.
Okay, great. Any questions on that? No? Okay. Motion to approve the report, please. John Follett, seconded by Kurt, all in favor? Wonderful. Orca update. Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My apologies for being late. I did send a message. I'm not sure if you got it in time. Oh, good. The seedling order was received. Thank you so much, Maureen and Carly, for all your work to get that in. Pickup will be April 27th and 28th. So as always, we set up time so I don't end up with everybody there all at once. So we can certainly find a time that works for you to pick those up. Our watershed report card was released last week on World Water Day. So that gives a snapshot of watershed health with surface water, forest conditions, things like that. So that's available on our website should you be interested. And I think that's it for updates for me. If anyone has any questions.
Okay. Step in, John, did you get any student in person?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so maybe we can coordinate again, either you or I or somebody save the trip out. Okay, so would there be a reminder going?
Yeah, I'll send out the poll as usual, so you can pick your times. And yeah, I'll just stack the orders together for you.
Okay. Any questions for Meredith? I just said, did you have to follow up on the signage by the two creeks?
Well, there's no need to replace it if you don't want to. There's no requirement to have it. It was a project done many years ago. I do have all the digital files if you wanted to recreate it.
No, but I was just wondering, so is Orca going to take them down, or are we responsible for that? Or
I believe the township put them up.
okay.
So perhaps we can have a conversation about that offline. Okay,
Yes,
I'll follow up
sure.
with you directly.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Orca? No? Great. Can I have a motion to accept the Orca report? John, seconded by Kurt, all in favor? Great. Okay, trail report. So, Maureen, you sent some
I
emails previous, which is
sent
great.
a
Thank you.
3-part email because the staff members often I can't get all the photos to go through on one email, even if I shrink them. So the trails are mostly snow and ice covered. There's just a couple, Baxter Creek and the rail bed, that have exposed gravel and soil. And all of the trails are in good shape, from what I can see, except for, Baxter Creek, really. So there is some, boardwalk damage, related to the transport of, materials and sections of the new bridge. But it's worth it because the new bridge is fantabulous. It is fantastic. And as soon as it went in, word got out somehow and people were using it. So everyone's really appreciative, big smiles on people's faces heading back up King Street, having done the loop, just or opens the village up again to folks. So a lot of the kind of wood that had gotten punky with the beaver flooding broke right through. So there are big gaps now. And even the new boardwalk closer to the Fort line took a hit. So there'll be a lot of work there. The other area of concern, of course, is the staircase, which continues to deteriorate the face of the fairgrounds. And my concern is because there is a lot of traffic through that area during fair weekend, and because not everybody who's down that hill is completely, has all their balance and wits about them. I think it's really would be a good idea to get those stairs fixed. On Med, there's the added concern about the bridge itself, and I included a fall picture there because my winter pictures weren't great, showing the wood on the deck of the bridge looks like. And other than that, the prospect of maybe some wind damage that I didn't get to after Friday night's wind blast. Everything is in good shape. There's just the one fallen tree at the south end of the rail bed with bunch. It doesn't look like much in the picture on the trail itself, but it's attached to the.
Easily walkable.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's happen one at a time. First of all, yes, there was a lot of damage past the new road, as you noted. However, just for the townships concerned, that still marks as closed because of the trail. So I know people are on it, but from a liability perspective,
Very well marked. It's blue.
I think, now I went to check this when I went out to look at the bridge last week. We've got a lot of wood stashed there, don't we, at the foot of that bridge?
There's more wood, on that like halfway between the end of the bridge and the sea up to the fairway.
Yeah.
There's two snatches of wood.
I don't think enough to
No,
fix, but there is already a good chunk out there for us to get started. Okay, I mean, that's obviously number one for our work day, which we'll talk about here in 7.4, I guess. I think, judging on the amount of damage and the fact that we haven't done much over the past couple of years, I would recommend, again, I don't have a vote, but I would recommend that we purchase wood this year. I don't believe we purchased wood last year. It's all sort of runs together. But I don't think we did. I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was 2 years ago we did, and there's still a fairly good chunk at the yard. I was last there in the fall, and obviously we haven't taken any home in the winter, but I think, these repairs and what we want to do will be, well depleted, if we won't be short. Okay, so those 2 points. On the rail trail, that fallen tree, is that something that you could look at? It's not
Yes,
very
we
far.
can, yeah.
It's
Tipping,
almost at the south gate, almost where the 2 mountain bike trails take off
Yeah.
from the rail trail, but it's small. It's
Is it-
something easy.
I can probably do it.
Yeah, it's
Did you send an invitation, or is this just the first I've seen or heard of
it's
it?
the first,
Okay.
yeah.
so
the very first.
If
I
I
think.
understand.
Yeah, I only saw it a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
I'll
small
take
on the
it.
trail. It's only about that wide in diameter on the trail, but it's attached to a much bigger thing off the side.
Okay, so, yeah, John, if you want to look at that and let us know, that'd be great. The boardwalk between Mets Park and the library, there's that tree that came over in the winter. It was kind of like a big brush. It's not
That's
really
all
a
it
tree.
is, yeah.
Yeah, you've got to divert off. I can take care of that. But I think it'll just need to wait, it's still a bit.
That, the one
it's
that's-
still- I was gonna get to it yesterday, but I had enough to do on my own property. But yeah, I can look after that. In terms of the bridge going across from the boardwalk to Men's Park, we can tackle that on wood bank. We've already got, I believe, lumber to be able to handle that sack. I'm just gonna strengthen it with some additional 4x4s.
Mhm.
And then, Chris, I don't know whether you want to talk about this now or in 7.4, but I think we need to have a discussion as to the fairground stairs, whether that's an MDT project or a town capital.
Do you want to speak to that in the work plan maybe when we get to there? Yeah.
And Miss Hurley has joined us as well. You can see her
Oh.
there. So she is just be virtual for today.
I haven't. Okay, thank you very much. So what, did you get the rail trail?
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
station trail?
Yeah, it's in good shape.
Okay,
Mhm.
but you didn't get to all of them? Or did you?
I got
did you-
to all the, I've done all the trails this month,
Oh,
but I
okay.
haven't gotten to all of them again since Friday night
That's right,
swing.
okay.
So the only parts that I didn't were Upper Med and the adjacent trails on Upper Med.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
so everything else is fine. And we've had so much wind that things have been pretty well groomed. Oh, I doubt very much I'll see too many surprises. As each subsequent windstorm has come through, there's been less and less damage, not more and more.
yeah,
Mhm.
okay, great. Yeah, I was on Meadow and, getting training on the Thursday before the windstorm. So
Mhm.
maybe I was wondering if there's any sense,
Mhm.
but yeah,
I'll be able to get
they looked in good shape.
Yeah.
Not getting transit?
Hmm.
Okay. And is the fire roof okay heading out there?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Well, I mean, muddy, but I mean, nothing you do, needs to prepare, just seasonal stuff.
I have to say, I did do Banning Transit beyond fire 310.
The kids, I want that. It's good. Okay, any other comments?
Yeah, just one, right at the far end of the county, just by the bridge, the Arch Bridge, there's a quite sizable tree down right across the trail. And it's been there most of the winter, because there's tracks around it. But it's probably at least a foot diameter.
That's on the Ganaraska side.
No, on our side, there's that lip where there's a drop off just before the bridge on our side. Just a little bump, just before the bridge.
Okay.
It's just on top of that,
Okay.
But it's west or east of 310?
310 west.
West of
Yeah,
310.
right within
Just before the.
20 feet of the bridge.
Yeah. Trying to picture the two different bridges, but it's the westerly bridge. as
Yeah,
opposed to
the
first
arms
one.
one, yeah. And just so everyone knows, on that last bridge, the top arch has fallen apart and the wood peg came out, and I did contact, whatever his name is, Gordon, about that, and so he's aware of it and he plans to fix that himself.
Okay. So would it be a township request to remove the tree? I think it's too big for.
Well, yeah, no, I don't know what John is comfortable with, or, yeah, but
Maybe
it's,
that's how it's hanging, like, is it right down on the ground or is it?
yeah, pretty much, yeah, it's right down on the ground. So, I mean,
It's probably, I could probably, yeah, I probably could deal with
Well, then let us know.
Yeah.
Like, I think the best option would you just cut a pathway through the tree.
yeah,
it. Yeah, if I cut the, slot on the right side, it won't bind, so
yeah,
if I bind the saw in there, I'll be
yeah.
unhappy.
So, I wonder what 310 is like right now to travel on in a
It-
vehicle.
It's pretty good. It's a bit sheet icy in places, but probably if you leave it another 3 or 4 days, it's probably,
Better or worse, one or the other.
yeah. better or worse.
Okay, great, and then Med's Bridge, we talked last time about, that being a replacement job. So, I mean, I was at it this morning, it's not, it's not terrible.
No.
It's not, I don't know whether it's worth replacing, going through the problem of replacing the boards before we get to replacing the bridge, but the problem with that bridge is it's not easy to replace the deck boards because they're kind of under the railing ties. It's not just sort of a simple unscrew, the other stuff. But okay, we'll keep an eye on that because again, I think that's going to be a separate project, separate from the workday.
With that bridge, I think staff should review that bridge.
In terms of the new design or the safety.
Just the condition of it and the safety and what we actually need to put in place there in a safety perspective.
Okay.
Like, I don't think just replacing a few boards on that.
No, we
It's
talked
gotta
last
justify
month
it,
about
yeah.
replacing it with a steel
Yeah.
frame like we have on the station.
Yeah.
Because I believe I measured last year, the year before, I believe there's enough I-beam
That's right.
at the yard to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be it'd be an expenditure,
Yeah.
not steel.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, I can work with you on that.
Yeah, I think that one just needs a bit of a review on it and,
Okay, great. Because I'd like to see that done. But we get to that before workday. And depends what people's time cycle is this summer, but I'm hoping to get it before the snow flies again.
Yeah.
This year, yeah. In the fall or late summer.
So would the committee like Med's Bridge added to your work plan as a point of conversation so that Chris can report back some further information, or?
Yep, that'd be fine.
Okay, I can make that update for you.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Maureen, for that. So do we have, well, here's the list. Okay, so, that was not gonna do it again until October. So maybe we can coordinate before that. Just, a buddy system, so she, know what we're doing. Okay, because I think we didn't contact her at all. So,
No,
okay,
yeah.
all right, so if that's good, we can discuss that with her at the next meeting if she's present. All right, thank you very much for that, detailed report. Does anybody have any other questions? And I think, sorry, Murray, just to go back to your point, you noted that the boardwalk could also use more shingle adequacy. I think there's shingle in the shed, if not, we've got some that will place for it.
Yeah, it's just,
So we can
it's
add
just
that.
that the shingle that's there is very widely spaced. The only person in this group whose stride length would be that long would be John's. So we need another length of shingle in between.
Well, that's always a fairly good teenage job.
Yeah.
To do, so we can add that to the list.
Mhm.
All right, any questions before we move on? I guess we need a motion to accept, in this case, Maureen's travel report. John, seconded by Dave, all in favor. Okay, 7.1, update on MTV discussion. So on March 21st, Dave and I met with Yvette, here at the township offices, and I want to give a brief update of what we talked about.
Oh, yeah, sure. So we were just basically talking about what we talked about here last meeting, what our plans are for this summer, and the mountain bike club will provide the township with dates and times and which trails we would aim to use for our events. I'll have that to you shortly this week. And I don't know if was there something else to highlight?
Well, I think just maybe to say that the catalyst of this meeting is partly because there have been other user groups have been requesting to use the trails. And so from a township perspective, they just sort of wanted to know, have a list, a fairly generic list of, okay, we know on this day, or like every Thursday, this group's gonna be using the trails, these trails between this time and this time, just so for better scheduling, things like that. I don't know if Carly or Ed or Chris wanted to add anything other than that.
Yeah, so we were just looking to maybe construct like a master schedule of all events, all users, what time, what day, just so everybody knows when they're in there.
Out of curiosity, what other groups?
We had the Peterborough Youth Group, Peterborough Cycling Club, and Five Peaks.
What was the last one, Chris?
Five Peaks.
Okay, perfect.
And then the possibility of the enduro race again in the fall.
Yes.
But the first two, we're looking for fairly regular, like weekly use of the trail.
Mhm.
And again, just so like, if, we need to put up signage or something that says, it's gonna be this event for this many people, et cetera, et cetera. So, okay, so great. So you're gonna have that list and in the next little while and go from there. Any questions on that?
I'm just wondering if the schedule could actually be published in the Millbrook Times, just so that, ordinary folk can plan whether or not they want to be on certain portions of the system.
I think part of the plan was to have it on Facebook and things and part of the township social media.
It looks like Yvette does want to comment, and then I can fill in wherever. Go ahead, Yvette.
Thank you. I think what we were planning on doing, Maureen, just to add to that, is we are planning on putting on social media and not necessarily take an ad out because it might change, but we're certainly thinking about putting it on the website and putting it out on social media so people are aware of the dates and the times when these events are going on.
Okay.
Okay, great. Any other questions for that?
No, we would just like to say thank you, David and Robert, for taking the time to meet with us as staff. It was a very productive discussion, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. Dave did all the heavy lifting there. We don't need a motion to accept that. No. Okay, 7.2, do you want to maybe move this until Mr. Natchoff joins us? Or do we need him for this?
We have quorum, so the committee, we can speak to this point. If,
Okay.
as chair, you would, I think we should just continue, honestly.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So we had a quick discussion offline, but do you want to, for the
Yeah.
benefit of those watching potentially, you want to sort of explain what this is?
Yvette, do you want to speak to this, or would you like me to give an overview to the committee?
You can go ahead, Carly. I can add in if need be, but go ahead.
Thank you. All right, so for today, we will be looking for the Millbrook Valley Trails Committee to appoint a member of this committee to the Ganaraska Forest Recreational User Groups Committee, so a representative. The purpose of this appointment is Councillor Natrop, as a council member, was a part of the Ganaraska committee. However, he has been appointed to the board of directors. So we do have a vacancy within the township of Cavan Monaghan for on the user group side. So to increase communication and to fill that vacancy, we have brought this item forward to the Millbrook Valley Trails Committee. So the ask today would be that if you are interested, then please go ahead and let the committee know, but that you appoint a member to the Ganaraska Forest user group committee. But again, that is separate from the township. And I am not aware at this time the frequency of the meetings and if it would be hybrid or in person, so the location of the meetings. And go ahead, Yvette.
Thanks, Carly. Just to add to that, the reason why we thought we'd bring it to the committee, if I may, is in the past, we've had a public, just someone from the general public that put their name forward in the past. But we thought it would be a great opportunity to learn from each other, be able to communicate with each other, and give you as a member of the Millbrook Valley Trail Committee an opportunity to share information. So that's one of the reasons, just to add to what Carly stated. Thank you, Carly. It's just a point of saying, if there is someone that is interested in this position, then, please, we thought we'd reach out to you guys first, of course. And if you're not interested, we'll certainly go the public route, but that was the reason to bring it to the committee.
Hi, I'm sorry I'm late, everyone. I'm actually I've been asked to be a part of the users committee for the Ganaraska. So if you want someone independent of a counselor representing that as well, if not, then I'm there.
So I apologize. You were just coming in.
Yeah.
So you are a part of the board. So we are, in addition to yourself, we are looking for one more member to be a part of the user groups.
Oh, okay.
So you can't be it.
I can't be on the user group?
No,
Oh, I was approached and asked to be on the user group.
you are, but you hold a different position than the ask for
Sorry.
today.
Okay.
Not a board member. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Sir, I'd certainly be interested. Yeah, I'd like to learn more about the other aspects of the GANI from what we're using, you know, in terms of access and everything about how the GANI functions and I'd like to report back to you guys on how we can be congenial users with the other groups, so.
That'd be great. Okay, do we need a formal motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do you need?
So it would be a motion to appoint Maureen McDonald to the Ganaraska Forest Recreational Users Committee.
Wonderful.
Any rep-
John,
I'd be pleased to take that on.
Thank you.
all in favor? Wonderful. Thanks very much. Okay, moving on to 7.3 bridge update.
So the bridge update, R&J Machine has completed the construction and installation of the new to replace the floating bridge. I've not made it there myself. I have seen pictures. Spent Marine, and I think it looks very, very nice. And is there any concerns?
A few concerns, questions. Maureen actually brought up in her trail report. So the fence is still open. That would allow the Argo to go in, and we're just concerned that that's a potential invite for other motorized vehicles to come in. So.
Yes,
do you have a
so-
timeline on when that might be closed up again.
As soon as we defrost out of the ground, we'll get a post in there and we'll get it
Okay,
cleaned up. Yeah.
okay. Is it worth putting anything temporary up there?
I can investigate yet with that. Yes.
Okay.
We can see what we can do.
Just because the tread marks are so clearly seen,
Yeah.
so it
Might be.
looks like.
Little
there's a
inviting,
Tractor
yeah.
through
Okay.
there,
Maybe a little.
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just more, again, obviously it's safety concerns, but it would result in even more damage to the boardwalks and stuff. Right?
Mhm.
So, and you know, the ground is there, especially as it's gonna get wetter and wetter.
Be a good use for the chain that used to be on the old bridge, if that's still hanging around.
Everything was in the contract to get removed.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, yeah, so has anybody not made it out on that committee? You haven't, okay. Any general comments or thoughts on what we've said already?
Just one note that you know where that little side creek was, just by one of the beaver dams where I addressed last time,
Yes.
and you said they were gonna put something down to get over that. What they ended up using was one of the floats off the old bridge,
Okay.
and that's still there, and it's a little bit of an eyesore.
Okay.
I don't really know how to bring it to your attention. It's not doing any harm, but there is an existing bridge there that is that narrow little one.
So
So ideally, I would like to see it moved.
yeah, no, for sure, but is it a big job to get it out?
I have no idea how heavy one of those 5-6 foot sections are. If it's waterlogged, I could see it being very heavy, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's waterlogged, it could be very good. We'll get in and have a look at it and see what we can do.
Because as well as just the eyesore, because it's kind of upstream of the little bridge.
Yeah.
Especially with lots of flooding in the moment, it's already, I think, pushed it a little bit and dislodged that bridge that was in place. So obviously that extra weight, it could potentially damage that bridge, so.
Yeah, that's not a problem. We can have a look and see what we can do.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Has the township had any thought on opening, or is that gonna be left to us, or is that gonna be in conjunction when the boardwalk is fixed? Do you not want to have a grand opening until the trail beyond it is in better repair? Not sure what your sort of thoughts are.
I think our thoughts are, we're gonna have to address that boardwalk first. Before we can, the boardwalk, before we can open
Oh,
the trail, like it isn't, well, it was in rough shape before,
Okay,
and I think there's a lot of work to be done there first.
all right, so no grand opening and then until probably after the,
And probably till after, if I may. We do want to do a grand opening, if I just add that. But Chris and I did speak about trying to get some additional works done in there first.
okay, all right. Yeah, so I said, I think maybe before you joined the vet, we talked about the tackling that boardwalk. Probably be our key job on work day, which we're gonna go here maybe tonight. Okay, one of the things I asked the committee to think about over the last month, at our last meeting was thoughts around a potential dedication of the bridge, some sort of recognizance of, I think we're well to do to, have some sort of plaque or sign to thank the donor who made part of the bridge possible. But then there was also some thought about, if we wanted to do some dedication to someone else on maybe a previous member or anybody in the village. So I'm not sure if anybody's had any thoughts on that over the last month. No, okay, I did. Which I didn't. Which I'm happy
It
with.
looks like Miss Hurley has her hand up as well.
Oh, sorry, I've got it.
Oh, one moment. Here. See if I can help this one. All right, go ahead.
Sorry. Okay. Just to add to that, sorry, Mr. Chairman, I wasn't quite sure if you were finished speaking yet or not.
Go ahead.
We do have, we will be checking too, as with regards to the funding source that we had, because there are some requirements there to acknowledge the funding as well.
Yeah, so that's what I meant when I spoke to the donor, about the donor who made part of the bridge funding loss.
Yeah, so there might be a few names in there because the province helped us with those funds as well.
Oh, I see what you're.
The grant.
Yeah.
Outside of the price. Okay.
Sorry, so
yeah.
I was just thinking there might be a few different people that, whether for the donation, the province, there might be some other other ones, and we can just confirm that with the criteria, but I believe we do have to recognize the province as well.
Okay, so, it might be a bit too much detail for tonight, but with that, were you thinking a single plaque for that, or a signage, or separate ones, or you're not even there yet?
Sorry, for us, we're not even there yet. So we would take it with the committee and we would discuss what our options are. But I'll happy to come back to the committee and let you know about the funding on the provincial side, as well as the donor side, and if there's anyone else that the committee would like to express interest. But we could talk about it and put it on for another item at the agenda.
Okay, that's fine.
At another meeting, yeah, and then I can confirm all of that for you.
Okay, so is it probably more pertinent to have that discussion as to some of the thoughts I had around a dedication at that time? Or would we want to discuss it tonight? Sure. Okay, discussing it, okay. So again, this is just, I don't have a vote, but I just had some thoughts, and I spoke to some previous committee members about it, and they were in agreement, but I thought it would be a nice recognizance of Bob Spitz, who certainly did a lot for the trails and was a longtime member, and certainly for a lot of hard work. And Mr. Spitz is responsible for all of the nice benches we have out there, the routed signs, all that sort of thing. So I talked to Peter and Glenn and Ted. I called Ted today, actually, and Bob is still around, luckily, which is good. I mean, I haven't seen him in a couple of years, but yeah, he's still around. And anyway, that was just my initial thought. We don't need to make a decision tonight by any means, and, you know, if anybody else has any other thoughts, I think we would all be very, you know, open to the discussion and all that sort of thing too.
Yeah, personally, I would strongly support that. I think both been instrumental over the years, and I think it'd be very nice. My thought would be with such a, if we were to go ahead with such a type of dedication, that I personally would want to see that sort of a separate sign from the funding.
Mhm.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I was thinking much like we did for the beverage, you know. Yeah,
Nice idea. Mhm.
okay,
Mhm.
all right. Any other thoughts or discussion on that? We can, again, we can make that decision closer to, and work out all of the details and, you know, costs, materials, all that sort of thing. But yeah, it doesn't sound like, you know, we're gonna be doing a grand opening of the bridge anytime in the next, you know, couple months anyway, right? Hopefully we'll be able to get a lot of work done on the boardwalk on workday, and maybe a bit prior to or a bit after, so that we can open it sooner rather than later, but that's all gonna be dependent on us, the number of volunteers, and of course the weather, right? So we'll see how that all goes. But from the initial stuff that I saw when I was out, the amount of snow that was still on the boardwalk, and certainly Marine's pictures today, I don't think there's any real sort of engineering repairs that need to be done. It's just mostly broken boards replacement, but you know, that's still a lot of work in terms of getting materials out there, right? So it's about as far from any entry point on the trails as we can get. So, but as you say, we've got some stuff out there and we've got stuff in the air, so we'll go from there. Okay. Anything else? Great. All right. 7.4, that brings us to the work plan. So I think as we discussed, we want to add Meds Bridge to that. And maybe in conjunction with, our discussions with the township, Chris, in terms of where we're currently at with it and what we want to do. And obviously we would need to involve Orca to get the right permits if we want to go ahead and put in concrete forms on the side of the bank, as we did with the station trail bridges. So we'll add that. Are we going to do that now, or are we going to do that later?
Sorry, no, I will take anything as you go through the items, any changes that we make, just a reminder, any subcommittee changes, to replace members, you do need to make a motion to appoint new members. And anything that is verbally discussed, I will take back, add on to the work plan, and it will come forward on the next meeting schedule.
Okay.
So that is where our Meds Bridge would be separate. So number 8, it would become its own item, separate from trail maintenance and repairs.
Okay, and do we have, we don't have an item on there for an annual workday? That's something we need to add?
This is whatever the committee wishes to identify as a priority. This is for this year. So if you wish to add a workday, we can go ahead and do that. It's
okay. Do we want to think about potential dates for a work plan? Previous years we've done it around, well, 5 years ago, we started doing it around, we had to do it on sort of Wednesday, which I believe is April 22nd. But we found that it was still fairly wet and the weather was a bit less predictable then. So we started moving it to the 1st or 2nd weekend of May. I believe the May long weekend is the 22nd of May this year. That sounds right. So previously, we've done it the weekend before, 2 weekends before, and maybe, or the weekend before, and then use the other day as a potential rain day. So anybody have any strong thoughts? We need to book it now, you want to confirm it next month, or?
I would suggest maybe doing that first weekend, the second weekend, because the Sunday is the Mother's Day as well. Which,
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Okay. sure.
oh no, wait, can't do it Saturday the 6th, because it's the coronation of King Charles III.
Be here. Yeah,
For the coronation, special guest.
special guest, sure. Well, I imagine by the time we have our work day, the coronation will be over. 5 hours and then. But yeah, okay. That's strange. I actually showed up on my calendar.
Yeah, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't know.
I have a lot of cloud.
Okay, so do we want to tentatively say Saturday, March 6th?
Yeah,
Sorry,
May.
April the 6th? May the 6th.
May.
Okay, it's great.
No.
Saturday, May the 6th. I believe we generally start by 9. I'm happy to have the barbecue at our house again. Unless anyone comes or do something different. That works. Okay. So maybe we say the 13th as a rain date, because the 14th is not anything. The 13th as a rain. Okay.
So May 6th, 9 AM.
Yeah,
And we meet where to start? At the,
end of Distillery Street.
okay.
Yeah, right in the down. Okay, well, I'll start communicating that, but maybe.
Does the committee usually make a flyer that we've shared in the
Yeah.
past? Okay, wonderful. We're happy to circulate that again through economic development. We can post it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah, and then we have an email list for volunteers. So we can put it as well. So maybe I'll work with you and we can get the flyer out to local businesses.
Do we have access to the same graphic again? Does everyone recognizes that?
Yeah, I've still got it.
Graphic, yeah.
So we just change that, change the date.
Mhm.
Okay, and maybe or what's the date of our next meeting?
The next meeting is.
24th. Yeah, okay. Maybe we'll have it ready to go then, that's 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll work over it, I'll get to it over the next month or something, that we'll have that. Okay, anything else to add to the work plan or anything else to discuss to the work plan? Just got something to discuss on item number 4.
Sorry, just for clarification, for work day, it's May 6th, so there is one more meeting. Any spending, do you wish to make any motions at this time, or would you like it to be brought forward to the next meeting so that you have time?
Yeah, the next meeting.
Next meeting, wonderful. And then the same with,
It's just,
But longer.
so I was thinking, yeah, the wood.
Boards,
well, we won't have, they don't even start cutting until June.
right, okay.
We've got, we're gonna have to
Or
use what
use
we've
up what
got.
we have,
I mean,
okay.
there might be a few things that, like I said, we need some pressure treated, we can make a run, but
Mhm.
I think that'll become more aware as the snow melts and we have a better look at the trails next month. But certainly the 2 weeks, when we meet on April 24th, that'll give us plenty of time to get whatever we need. I think we're okay with tools, but we could always use more, drills and stuff, but generally we try and wait for sales if we can. But we're in okay shape now, with what we've got on hand and with what people have privately, they're great.
And then just a reminder, if there is anything that you need from Chris, just to let him know prior to.
Yeah, if you want to check this, I mean, generally we've had a staff person, we have most years, not every year, had a staff person on hand. If that's possible, that would be always helpful.
Yep.
We can talk too about if we want mulch delivered to the beginning of lower meds, like we have, but I mean, we can certainly discuss that at next meeting too. 2 weeks would be enough time for somebody to bring a low in or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you could let me know at the next meeting, staff wise or material wise, and we can work with you.
Yeah, I think as, again, we'll have a bit better idea of what we need to do, so if there's other stuff too, like even if you could get a truckload of lumber from the yard and deliver it to the end of, the roller tree there at the beginning of that trailhead, that would help.
Yeah, that's a total possibility.
Okay. Any other thoughts? John?
It's kind of, if that topic's done, I was just noticing, we still have the October 21st update for the trail repairs. And I'm seeing this low hanging branch to be cut from Theater Trail, and I'm guessing we probably dealt with most of those things. Like that's
So I
a year
think,
and a half ago, and I don't think we have a habit of saying, you can take that off.
no,
And so I'm just wondering how we update those, because like I know that branch is gone, and I think those were mostly things that I mentioned. So that goes back to so like we were having problems with the stairs at the fairgrounds, but I think we're different problems now than they were that or a year and a half ago. So I just wondered whether we should delete that old one, like we got a new current one, I believe. So is it safe to just approve and delete them with the board, or we like to keep them there?
so again, as mentioned at the first meeting, the committee was working off a fairly older document. So if there is items that are they've been dealt with, or they can be removed, just advise me at this meeting. You can go through each of the items so that we can update properly.
Well, I was, like, I'm guessing there are probably some muddy areas that can be fixed on the Ganny Transit, but they're not where those ones were, even though those ones weren't specified. So, like, unless anybody knows that there's some of those ones that haven't been dealt with.
So we're looking,
Just take those off. I mean,
Just take-
October 25th, 2021 updates, I think. you
Okay.
can remove it, right?
Because I'm sure Marine,
All completed.
Just quote.
Okay.
Except that the old school entrance still needs to be addressed.
So remove everything except the old school entrance. Okay.
I'd like to explore the possibility of getting mountain bikes downtown somehow as maybe one of my goals for this year. So whether or not we achieve that, but could there be something added to our work plan that just starts exploring that idea as a first step? It doesn't have to use the new bridge, just like let's find, is there a way we can make it happen so that rather than people parking out on Zion Line, they can park downtown? And that might help the local businesses, might be new opportunities there. See if there's a way we can explore it, make it work. If not, that's okay.
Okay, you wanna add that, Aaron? Can we add that? to
the committee's in agreement.
Yeah.
Do you have any ideas?
No. It just depends how wet the alternative properties are, or sorry, alternative parts of the property are.
Well, we had explored a number of years ago, pre-COVID, the possibility of running a trail up along Upper Meds.
Yeah.
Above the Upper Med Trail.
Yeah, I think
Where
that's,
we looked at that.
I think that area, there are options there. It's just between, it's really the floating between the fairgrounds and the T intersection.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the wettest and most, and I think it's actually the narrowest in terms of what the township, what the property lines are.
Right.
Sorry, from Upper Meds, did you mean at the end of Gravel Road? That like the very end of that area where?
Yeah, that was kind of the.
Yeah,
entrance
okay,
point.
that makes a ton of sense.
Well, we're not even necessarily going that far, but just preserving the existing loop that you get to from the dam, but going up and above that, but still maybe back down to that spot, still getting people down to the dam. I think would be ideal. I'm not trying to send them out to Gravel Road, because then that's the fortunately library area to go.
Well, because there's the trail on Distillery Street in between the first and the second house. It goes up to the library, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, but
Okay,
because
so-
we looked at that.
Oh, yeah, yes, right, right, yes, right. Whatever it is, but I think the complicated area is the floating bridge. on
Yeah,
either side
so
of the floating bridge.
that's always been.
Limitation of property
Yeah.
and.
And geography.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's boggy.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, let's put that down and explore.
So Ms. Hurley just has her hand up. Go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, if I may, David, would it be good? I think it would be good if for you and Chris, maybe just to, I mean, I'm good with having it on listed as something that we're going to explore. But maybe it'd be good if you and Chris had an opportunity to sit down and take a look at some of these areas and see what works. It's a great way for us to take a look and see where a proper connection or link could be to bring down. We had a lot of conversation a few years ago, Robert might remember as well, about bringing the mountain bike trail connection in the downtown core area as well. So we might be able to take a look at what those routes might look like and then report back to the committee for the committee to either support or not support.
Okay, that's fine with me.
Yeah, sounds good.
Chris, are you okay with that?
Good with that, yes.
Okay,
Okay,
thanks, David.
Sure, my pleasure.
and then I just had a sort of an update on number 4, brochure update. It's not so much the brochures, but Maureen mentioned it in her trail report. The brochure holders are not holding up.
Mhm.
Well, we need more. So many years ago, I had built some of them, but again, I think pre-COVID, we purchased a box of the plastic ones that are out there now. Are those that are still remaining. We are out of those and have been out of those for well, a couple of years at least. So we should have a discussion as to, do we want to continue with something like that? I remember looking at them at some point last year and they've gone up significantly, but everything else, but I can't remember what they were, but I could look there. Or is it, do we want to go with something else? Do we want to have something built, or do we want to go with something purchased? What are your thoughts?
Personally, I think I like the general design, and I think it's optimal just to be able to use some amount of funds to purchase them. But I personally don't think those ones have stood the test of time, and I'd rather pay extra for a bit thicker plastic or whatever, if that thing is not that cheap.
Okay, John?
I guess my question would be, is there an alternative to plastic that isn't worse than plastic? If you look at everything, like making them out of stainless steel involves mining. You know, can you build anything out of wood that actually lasts? And I don't know if the price of plastic is going up, then does that change whether you can build something out of wood? Anyway, all I have is the questions.
Mhm.
And is there anything better we could do? Because I agree, the plastic ones haven't exactly been perfect. If they were perfect,
No, I agree. I think one of our limitations is that there's not a lot out there on the market for what we would call outdoor holders.
Yeah.
Like, there's lots of like brochures inside a building, you know, or whatever. But ours obviously have to, as you say, stand the test of time and all sorts of weather. And like even the ones I built were wood, but then they had a plastic, like a plexiglass front, right? Because we all determined that it's important to be able to see the cover of the brochures. Right?
Two suggestions. One was, what's the potential of using rubber? And two, how about we contact, what's his first name? Brooke Taylor from Taylor Recycled Plastics, and see if he could do a custom for us specifically for that, and then have him, you know, we could pay a portion and recognize him for his support and donation, and then we're getting something that's recycled and will stand like the benches that he constructed that we had at Fourth Line when I worked there, they'll be there when the cockroaches are around. So I think if we can come up with, someone can come up with like the design concept of it, he can build anything of any size. He does like little birdhouses and stuff like that. So I think this is something that he might enjoy doing as well. So
Yeah, I mean, the design's quite simple, doesn't have to be anything.
I'm happy if someone wants to provide me with a design concept, I can approach Brooke since I've dealt with him before. But if anyone else has any other ideas, just something out there.
Recycled plastic is better than new plastic,
Very much
so,
so,
yeah, I
yeah.
think
And
we
he's
should,
local.
Yeah,
we should look at that.
and
That'd
it
be good.
gives the high profile to a
Local
well-known
business.
local
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
So it's two separate, ideally, it would be two separate designs, one for the poop bag dispenser. Cutting out a hole in the plastic has been a big part of the ones we've had, has been a big part of the breakdown of that, and cold freeze thaw cycles have been a real.
Yeah.
So the poop bag dispenser and the pamphlet dispenser would be slightly different
Sure.
from one another, but it would be great if we could.
So-
Well, they're basically the same, one, although one has a hole in it,
Yeah,
and the other one doesn't.
right.
So if someone can provide design wise, then at least I can approach him and find out what cost would be on that end of things. And, if we can talk about, in-kind donation and that kind of thing, and the number of which we would need.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need hundreds, but
Yeah.
we need one more than two.
Yeah, okay.
John?
I'm just wondering, is it possible the design could be based on the wooden ones you did, but the plexiglass front? And just enough cover on it so that the paper's kept like 3 sides with a good roof over it or something?
Yeah, it just need to be kept dry.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, that's essentially the same design as you plastic ones, right?
I only see them when they're blowing in the wind.
Yeah.
Right, I apologize. That was enough.
Yeah, all right, I can get that to you.
Yeah, okay, great. I'm happy to take it from there.
Okay, that's great.
My first thought was, do we expect to ever move away from paper brochures? And do we want to encourage moving away from paper brochures? And so the first thought was, a QR code and a map right there that someone can take a photo of or get access to our online mapping.
Yeah.
Or even if we want to stick with the paper brochures, do you want to consider like something similar that says, if you don't want to take a paper brochure, use this.
Good point, yeah, so I think, again, the new trailhead signs, we've always talked about having that QR code on them, right? I think there's a QR code on the current one, right? That takes you to the map. So yeah, there'll be QR codes on every trailhead sign. I mean, maybe even separate QR codes on a trailhead itself we could think about. I think we'll probably always want them for the scoop and scoop bags.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the idea would be, I don't know, my thought would be, we would probably always have paper brochures, but a lot less of them, right?
Well, maybe having a map or a QR code on every dispenser, we can start to see a reduction in how many.
Yeah, for sure. Sure, yeah.
I think they already have seen a reduction over time, yeah, probably.
I'm surprised it disappears quickly when they do.
Well, I think too, part of the problem is that not all areas where people could scan a QR code, signal's not always the greatest, right? To be able to download a map while you're there. But again, hopefully that gets better too. As more recurring. Yeah, no, I don't want to be greater than 3,000 brochures a year. Yeah, that's a lot. But saying that, I do not see a lot of them on the trail. And nobody gets a huge letter of concern from a resource perspective.
Maybe put some kind of literature in the thing itself, just saying, for the save trees and the environment, we recommend that you, when you go home, download this code when you have the convenience of your home computer.
Yeah,
or
or-
something like that, and
When you walk back to your car, put the brochure back in the box.
that would be nice too.
Yeah, like I don't think anyone's gonna be scanning this QR code until after they've done their hike. Once they've taken the brochure, it's not going back in the box. I would assume most of the time.
Yeah, no, I agree, but yeah, we have them right there when they get to the part of the trail, right?
Yeah, I think we stop adding trails, we may not. It's just, to me, it's a marker of how many users have cultivated or period of time, which is quite long, especially through COVID. But my feeling is that even though our numbers are increasing, you know, at sometimes exponentially, say in the summer, we've had an exponential growth of users. I wouldn't say that the pamphlet use has grown to the same extent.
No, and I would also too, these are not all only at travel edge. They're wherever trail. Okay, so I'll get that to you. That's a great suggestion. Thank you. Anything else on the work plan? No. Okay. Meeting. Have any thoughts on what we'd like to talk about? Got further discussion about road, trail, sorry, dedication thoughts, sponsors, that sort of thing. I would like everybody here to, as we walk the trails this month, to look out for things that need to be fixed, repaired, so that we can come up with a definitive list for work day on May the 6th or 13th. But we can start to really define that list on our meeting on April 24th. I think we've got probably 90% of it already. We know what we need to do, but who knows what the next 4 weeks will hold, and the falling of the snow will show. If there's any thoughts on tools, equipment, or supplies that we need, obviously bring that to the forefront. Anything else anybody would like to see on the list to discuss?
I'm just wondering about trail closures signs during the thaw, if we will, when we'll put those up, and if we need more. Do you want to go about that differently this year? We should probably, I don't know if next meeting soon enough, but
Okay. Put on the list.
it's probably too late for now. So let's put on the agenda for next meeting.
Yeah, well, we've,
Trailblazers.
do you have those or are they at the shed?
So I might have one or two, but I don't think I have all of them.
You've got yours too, right?
Yes, I think we have ones for our kids. I think we need more.
I can't remember if they're in my workshop or somewhere in my workshop or if they're on the shed. Anyway.
Can I
One or
just
two
look at the
places.
brochure for a second? Thanks.
Okay, yeah, and we may need them before the next meeting.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, okay, well, let's put it on the agenda just in case.
Yeah.
But we can discuss that by email. We can get it here pretty quickly. Yeah. I think we've got 8. Well, no, we've got more than that. We've got, because you remember Signorama, I think we ordered 8, but we've got 16 because Signorama screwed up and put them on, instead of the aluminum plate ones, they put them on the plastic ones. So they gave us the other ones for an option. We've got, I think we have more than we think.
Okay.
But
That's fine.
yeah, we'll find out. Okay, anything else? Anybody wants to add? We're good to go now?
Just because I was late arriving, just a quick brief update. I don't have my notes with me, but the last meeting with the Ganaraska Regional GRCA, in a nutshell, the trail system will be 95% open for May 1st. The 5% open yet to be done is in consultation with buttressing private property. At that point as well, hunting starts effective for turkey on the May 1st as well. And they hope to have full trail openings sometime, they're thinking by either the end of June or July. And they'd be happy to sit with us if we wanted to at any time, meet with them to have any kind of discussions to hear our concerns or their concerns and how we want to work together moving forward. We're really kind of open to meeting the new board, and so yeah, it was a good meeting. I'll provide better notes the next time, since I'm sorry it was an accident on the highway. So
Well, was there any discussion around, there was talk at the last meeting of potentially restricting all or essentially funneling all access in through the official, the one official
The
entrance.
central center, so what they're working toward is that they'll want to, when they have a full reopen, to ideally have all accesses open. It's just a matter of, they wanted to do some updated signage to ensure that there's not motorized vehicles in certain areas. And just, they've got a kind of, other than cleanup, they've just got a lot of, as they call it, wayfare, so directional stuff, and just trying to like kind of have new signage, because a lot of stuff has been ripped down. And a lot of people have been going on accessing private properties to enter while they haven't been using the centralized area.
Right.
So that is their goal, is to try to have things up to where it once was, as if, you know,
So
prior to the
just
start.
to clarify, there's no
Yeah.
long-term plan to
That wasn't the plan.
Trail entrances. Okay, that's good.
That was it for me.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Okay, next meeting day of 24th, Gary and Dave doing the trail report. Send a email to Gary to remind them. Any other last concerns? Motion to adjourn. Don, seconded by Dave, all in favor? All right, thanks very much, everybody. Appreciate it.